Good evening, you lot. So, I've just had a really nice Instagram live. First time I've done it in ages. And although I did a Facebook live with the wonderful Mitch Hopkins, one of the other coaches, only earlier this morning, I wanted to do another one because I'm fed up. I'm fed up of having bullshit. I'm gonna go off air. And you're going to have to deal with it. This is my time to air off. I'm fed up of having Slim World members ex-Slim World members come to me asking for help, being absolutely broken, being fed up, being completely lost with nutrition and anything they're trying to achieve, and Slim World not being held accountable. So even if this gets out to one person and they tag one person in this, I'm happy. I'm happy because I'm just fed up with it. I'm fed up with Slimming World taking people's money and not being transparent with people and not telling them the facts and being honest. And all right, Mush. All right, Leon. All right, Mush. I'm just fed up with it. So the subject today is why Slimming World doesn't work for everyone. And I'll be honest, it doesn't work for a lot of people, but I need to be factual in what I say, and I don't have the actual statistics in front of me. When you come on and you can hear me, say hello, hit like, so I know you can hear me. I want to talk about why Slimming World does not work for everyone and actually doesn't work for a lot of people. And the truth is that they're taking your money and they're laughing all the way to the bank, and they change their marketing all the time. So you can have your favourite food sin-free one day and then not on another because they're bringing out another product that is very, very similar to that product and they can make more money off of you. So, yeah, the truth's coming up whether you like it or not. If you're a Slimming World fan and you're a Slimming World member, it's cool. We can have a chat. Like, I will chat with anyone and I will not disrespect you. You have to understand this is not about the people that are taking part in Slimming World. It's about Slimming World as a company. So, yeah, I'm not being disrespectful to Slimming World members. I just don't agree with Slimming World as a company, and these are the reasons why. So, Slimming World have set up a very, very easy to it's not actually that easy to understand, but an easy to understand structure, a quick structure that will mean everyone can be treated the same. So Mina goes to a first Slimming World club group and she gets weighed and all the other things that happen, and she gets given the same book and the same information as Jane if she went, and Kelly if she went, and Gemma if she went, and everyone gets the same information. They get the same amount of sins, which, by the way, I'm coming on to sins in a minute, and it's ridiculous how you can call a food a sin. And I know that if there's any Slimming World members watching, they're going to go to me, oh, it actually stands for synergy. And I'm fully aware of what it stands for. The point is it's been shortened and people don't view it like that. They view it as sin as being a bad thing and, you know, it's a bad food and I can't have that, and restriction and negative. So I don't need you piping up going, oh, it's synergy. I know what it means, but they're very happy to let you and new members believe and think that it's a sin and it's a bad thing. So let's not go there. But every single person gets treated the same. If you're a woman, you get 15 sins. Okay, most of them are women. And yes, I do have a cold, and yes, I'm feeling a bit under the weather. Sorry, deal with it. Anyway. Martin, there you go. Martin's, saying he was allowed 15 sins a day, and everyone's treated the same, and it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Martin is a 200 and what? I don't know, what are you now, Martin? £250 man, something like that. Other people will go and be half that weight or a third of that weight or taller or shorter or have active jobs, and some will have office jobs, and some will be older than Martin, some will be younger than Martin. But no, none of that's important. No, not to us. We're Slimming World, we know best. We're going to ignore the science, we're going to ignore how you actually go about losing weight. Don't worry about your age, your weight, your activity levels, the food that you like, anything like that. We're not going to do anything personal. We're just going to make sure that you come once a week, you get weighed, which is a bullshit way to measure progress, by the way. and everyone's going to get treated the same. And this is exactly why some people go and get weighed and they've lost weight, because guess what? They're in a calorie deficit. They didn't get told they're in a calorie deficit. They just go and they follow the plan. They're like, oh cool, it's because I've only had my 15 sins, I haven't had any more, I've been on plan, I've had my speed food, blah blah blah, all these confusing things to sent to confuse you, and I've lost weight, and that's why. And by the way, if there's people that have been on Slimming World, and I know there has, Martin's here, Edna's in the house, there's plenty of people that are watching that would have done Slimming World. Can you please leave a comment on either a ridiculous thing that you heard in a group, or something you heard in a group that you're like, I don't even know if that's true. Is that true or not? Like, I don't know. And I will answer it, because I've had some wacky, wild, like crazy questions thrown out off the back of that in the past. Things like, when people put on weight and they go, yeah, but I followed the plan and I did this, and then the specialist at the front will say, oh well, you've done a lot of walking, it's probably muscle, and it's like, do you realise how hard it is to put a pound of muscle on, or 2 pounds of muscle, or whatever? They just pass the buck each time, and then the user, the person that goes, gets pissed off, or worse, I think that the person that's in front of them actually has some knowledge, which 99% of the time they don't. And I had a huge argument last year with a consultant on a public stream. It was a public group, and I would say she attacked my program, and I was like, you for real? And I just said, can you just tell me how weight loss occurs? And she wouldn't answer me. And I went, so you're a consultant that doesn't tell people how to lose weight? Would you not say that's concerning? Then she started getting all funny, and I was like, look, I've just asked you, a weight loss specialist, as you call yourself, a question on how to lose weight, and you're not answering it. You're not prepared. You're either not prepared to answer it, which is odd and should raise suspicions, or you don't know the answer, which is even probably worse, because you can't call yourself a specialist in that field if you don't understand how that works. Anyway, and this is why, because everyone has the same approach, this is exactly why people don't get, or not everyone gets results. Some people get results, and to be perfectly frank, it tends to be the larger people, and that's not a dig, it's just a reality check, okay? The larger people tend to get better results because guess what? They go to that program, they get some structure, and they might have had no structure before in the past. They consume less calories because they're conscious of what they're doing, which is cool, and I love that. And then a result of that means they're in a calorie deficit and they lose weight, and that's cool, and that's going to happen. But I would say, like, your average Joe that's looking to lose not a tremendous amount, might be a size or two bigger than what they want to be, those people are the ones that you really, really need to focus on and go, right, I can't just treat you like the bigger people in the group. Quite clearly, you're not that size, you might be a bit more active, etc., etc., etc. I need to make sure that I'm treating you different and treating you as the person that you are, and approaching your problem with personal targets and allowances and bits and bobs. But they don't do that again, and then people go and then they'll lose a couple of pounds one week and then put it on the next week, and then the same, and they go back and forth, and 4, 5, 6 months later, which is a huge amount of time when you're trying to achieve weight loss. If you've not lost any weight in 6 months, either your mindset and your attitude towards it is crap and you're not adhering, or your approach is just wrong. Like, you can't do the same thing month in, month out and expect something to change if you're not changing yourself. It's just crazy. Anyway, can't stress enough, stop letting your friends, your family, and if you're watching and you're part of it and you're not getting results, well, actually, and do you know what, whether it's Slimming World, Weight Watchers, whatever, if you're not getting results, change the bloody program. If you're on my program and you're not getting results, direct message me. I want to know what's going on, because I refuse to accept that it's the program and the coaching, etc., etc., and there must be a deeper rooted issue, but we can still help with that. But whatever you do, don't continue to do the same thing week in, week out, month in, month out, and think that something's going to change, because it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So anyway, I want to start going through some questions and bits and bobs now. So there's plenty of people on. certified nutritionist sitting right in front of you, giving up my time to help you guys. Now's the time to ask questions, okay? So I was allowed an extra 3 because I was breastfeeding. Wish I knew better then. That was 3 cheese triangles, I think, 8 years ago. Wow, yeah. So, you know, when you're breastfeeding, here's a great question for the 26 people that are watching. And if anyone gets this right, I'm going to be wow impressed. What's the average amount, and I appreciate it's only an average, but what's the average amount of additional calories required when breastfeeding? This will wow you. Absolutely wow you. And if there's anyone breastfeeding that's struggling to lose weight, this should open your eyes big time. So what do you reckon? How many additional calories per day when breastfeeding based on the evidence and the literature? I'll come to that in a minute. So Kelly, I did Slimming World several times. It was so restrictive. I avoided going out because I know I would blow all my sins and ended up miserable doing it. And the guilt, if I went over sins, would make me snowball. Yeah, and the guilt, do you know what? That's one of my biggest pet peeves, is because once people signed up to Slimming World, again, this is a typical thing. It's called the sunk cost effect. You sign up to something, even if you're not getting results, you stick by it because guess what? You've invested time and money and you don't want to accept that you failed or that the system or something has failed and it's not working. So what do? You carry on until you finally, you know, do something that you should, like, stop doing it or, exit the program, which you should have done maybe 6 months prior to that point, but you didn't because you were invested in it and you didn't want to feel like you'd failed. That is what the sunk cost effect is. That's just how people work. It's the same with relationships. How many people watching now have been in a relationship and not left because, you know, you had a good time and you have invested that time into that person and, I think I can still make it work. And then when you do eventually leave, you go to all your mates, fuck me, I wish I'd have done that sooner. And it's exactly the same with people's diets. And you're wasting your time on crappy programs with crappy approaches because, I spent my money, so I should turn up. No, just cancel the direct debit and do something that's going to bloody work. Same with the gym. If you're not going to the gym, stop wasting your money. Stop making yourself feel better by going, maybe I'll go next week. Either go or don't. Save the money. Like, invest in something you're going to do. Anyway, moving on. Did Slimming World and out it back on. I'll put it back on, I guess you mean. Yeah, I need to find the statistics for this, Mina, but I've heard some really high stats on people that do Slimming World, lose weight, but then put it back on and it's like 80+% apparently. And I use the word apparently because I don't know, okay? But, again, don't be that absolute... I'm not going to be too rude. Don't be the fool that goes back to the program, any program for that matter, because it worked for them. It didn't work if you go back heavier than what you started, did it? Unless the program taught you everything and you've just, there's always going to be, there's always going to be occasions where, it's not as straightforward as it might seem, but the amount of people that lose weight on Slimming World, put it all back on and end up going back, guess what? It's part of their business plan. That's what they do. They try to take the money from you. If they can get you to come back each time and go round and round in circles, they make more and more cash. I've done Slimming World twice, ended up binging. Yeah, and Sam, you're doing amazing on the program now. Keep up the great work. They always said the people that ate bigger meals seem to be the ones that had the bigger losses, as there's no limit to free food. Yeah, and let's just stop for a second and think about that. So I can eat as much of this food as I want and I will still lose weight. Does that not sound a little bit too good to be true? Does that not sound pretty fucking stupid, actually? Because if I eat all of that food all the time and I consume a shit ton of calories because of it, how is that going to stop me from not putting on weight? How does that defy the laws of thermodynamics? Like, it just doesn't work like that. It's just ridiculous. The thing is with free food is their free foods are normally very filling. So if you tell someone that likes to eat come and do our program. You can eat all this food and it's free. You don't have to count it. You don't have to think about it. You can just have it. That's a pretty cool thing for someone that likes to eat. But it's not the truth. No food is free. You're going to have to remember that. I went for tea and biscuits that they give out. Yeah, I'm sure you did, mate. I was told at Slimming World I wasn't losing weight because I might not be eating enough. Oh, Mina, this one grinds my phone. So this is a rant coming out now. How can... it's the most frustrating thing. How can a company that works with so many people be allowed to give out incorrect information? Like, how does that work? If you went to the bank... Look, go back a few years when we had the crash. Everyone was like slagging off the bankers, going, oh, they were out of order, they shouldn't be giving that advice, they shouldn't be doing this. And they were brought up on it, like legally brought up on it. Like, why is Slimming World allowed to appoint weight specialists and consultants that give out completely incorrect information? You will not lose weight if you're in a deficit. It doesn't matter how deep of the deficit you're in. If you're in a deficit, you will lose weight. Now, what that weight is questionable, but you will lose weight. And you won't just... Your body doesn't go into starvation mode. It's the most frustrating thing to hear that people still get told that on Slimming World. Because then they come to a program like ours and they think, oh, can they be right? I'm not sure. And then they're so conflicted and there's such a wild... amount of inaccurate information out there. It's just unbelievable. I was watching a live yesterday on I can't remember the lady's name. She's got like 1.2 million followers. She's lost over 300 pounds naturally, according to her Instagram page, which I think is incredible and it's amazing. And someone said, I'm not losing weight because I'm only having 1,000 calories a day and I'm not losing weight. And the response was, and quite clearly she'd done amazing, she'd done this amazing journey. The response was, you're not eating enough. And just because, it was just such proof that just because someone's lost a lot of weight, it doesn't mean that they know what they're talking about. They clearly don't know what they're talking about. They want to help, and I'm sure their intentions are good, but it's not right. And it, you know, I can't believe Slimming World are allowed to operate. It's ridiculous. M. Smith, my favourite one is you might not be eating enough. Yeah, again, it's just you know, I don't know why this isn't working, so I'm just going to make something up. Like, you know, just ridiculous. Sam also didn't sort my actual problem, portion control. I still didn't understand how pasta, rice and potatoes are free food. Yeah, they're not free food, are they? You know that now because you're on the programme. Yeah, it's just so many problems. Yeah, so many people get suckered into it, and they also, something that winds me up a tree is they see the price and go, oh, I can pay that weekly. That seems more affordable. And then they look at our price, and our price it's the equivalent. I think it's like £6 or £7 more a month. But they're like, oh yeah, but you know, that's more money. And I'm like, yeah, but you know, it's chalk and cheese. Like, you get actual information from us, you get the actual approach you need, you get support that is not just, oh, I'm going to turn up in a cold community centre and get weighed and judged by everyone. It's like, oh no, you can actually contact a coach whenever you want and actually get genuinely educated, evidence-based advice and support, and you're querying like over the, what's that, like 20 something p a day, like crazy. Jane, done it twice. Wish I had been there to see that. The more free food you eat, the more weight you lose. Yeah, ridiculous, isn't it? You know, so the more calories you have, the more weight you lose. How does that make sense? Crazy. Jodie's watching, my lovely wife. Catherine, my portions were too small apparently. Yeah, so again, not eating enough. Isn't that funny? You're not eating enough. If you had a dog and the dog was overweight and you took it to the vet, and the vet went, yeah, the problem is you're not eating it enough. Not feeding it enough. I think you need to feed it more. You'd look at that vet and go, are you fucking mental? You go, no, I think I just need to walk it more and probably lower its portion sizes a little bit. And voila, what would happen? It would probably lose weight because it would probably be put into a deficit. Anyway, moving on. Martin, there are so many more people on the taste tester days when members would make Slimming World recipes and spend the sesh eating and chatting with tea. Yeah, yeah. To be honest, and I actually like Slimming World's community. So I know I slag Slimming World off a lot, but the community they've created is amazing, and I love the support the members give each other. But unfortunately, it's the blind leading the blind. And if they would only approach the fact that, their education and lack of personalised approach is letting them down, if they approach that, they would take over the bloody world. But they're not prepared to. They would prefer to, instead of helping people, genuinely helping people, they would prefer to make more money. And that sucks. I mean, that really sucks. And if you know people that are giving them money, you should bring them up on it and be like, is that really what you want to do? Like, they're not helping you, they're helping themselves. This makes so much sense. Good, Vicky Craig. Happy to help. Martin, 1500. This is the guess for breastfeeding. 800, 500, 300. Lots of different guesses. So the answer for the breastfeeding question, so if you're breastfeeding, the average amount of additional calories a lady requires is just under 700 calories, which is a huge amount. That's a huge amount. And we had a lovely lady do the program a little while ago who was breastfeeding, and put her into a calorie deficit, and she was very active as well, and she lost so much weight in such a short period of time, to the point where I was kept giving her more calories. I was like you're obviously active and you're breastfeeding, blah blah blah, and kept giving more calories, and we were struggling to keep her weight static because she wasn't hungry and she didn't want to eat. She was like, wow, like, how is this working? And I explained the science behind the breastfeeding element, and she was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But it does make sense, doesn't it? You're literally giving energy to your baby. And we've got a wonderful lady on the program at the moment who I'm helping through her pregnancy, because I also help ladies through their pregnancy, both pre, during and post, because there's nutritional requirements around pregnancy, of course. And if anyone got any questions, fire away. And she's pregnant with twins, so that's the first time I've had the joy of helping a member that's pregnant with twins, because obviously twins, there's more complications, shall we say, and obviously when she's breastfeeding, if that's what she chooses to do, then she's going to need loads more calories, and yeah, it's all amazing stuff. Vicky, how can you eat unlimited potato, pasta and rice? Yeah, you can't, and who'd want them anyway? One of the things that you should consider when dieting, anyone should consider when dieting, is to the enjoyability, if that's a word, if there's not, it is now. Are you going to enjoy eating unlimited potato, pasta and rice? I mean, if you put a bowl of rice in front of me, I think I'd tell you to fuck off. That would be the most boring meal I could think of. And potato, they referred to potato as boiled potato and stuff like that. And it's interesting because on the satiety index, so basically a list of foods that make you feel the most full, potato is right up there as being the highest, but it's boiled potatoes. If you mash that potato and put butter in with it, you could probably eat a lot more. And if you put a bit of cheese on as well, you could probably eat even more. So yeah, it depends on lots of different things. Breastfeeding, it must be a lot. I literally ate non-stop, was hungry all the time and still lost weight. Yeah, then that's the thing. 700 additional calories. For some women, their maintenance, the amount of calories they need to sustain their weight might be between 1,500 and 2,000 calories a day. So 700, that's a huge amount on top. If you need 2,000 calories to sustain your weight, and then you're asked to have an extra 700, that's a lot of calories. How can fruit be free food but when blended it's a sin? Yeah, again, absolutely barbaric, isn't it? Absolutely barbaric. And the sin system's just a joke. I'm sure an avocado, there'll be people that know this or go, oh, it's this actually, and please do correct me if I'm wrong. An avocado's 12 sins or something silly, and then a pint of Strongbow is 4 or something silly, and it's what? How can you... Why are you demonising a fruit? An avocado has got a lot of positive nutrients behind it. And what are they, 300 calories maybe? How can something that's 300 calories take up the bulk of your sin allowance for the day? It just doesn't make sense, and it doesn't. That's the point. It's just rubbish. Slimming don't work for everyone. Never did me. Yeah, Emma, absolutely, and that's my point. And it will do for some, but... for most it won't. Most people will just pay their money, not get any results, and end up going back, and they're part of the problem. Selena said the same thing. She was told she didn't eat enough to lose weight. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. Emma West was Rogers is watching. Hello, Emma West was Rogers. Lou Underwood is watching. Vicky, I'm in my second week. This makes so much sense. I'm a fouled cereal dieter. I'm excited to see what happens. Yeah, cool. So I'm going to pretty much bring that to a close. Unless anyone has any other questions now's the time to fire them in. But Vicky, so pleased you're on board. Really do hope you're enjoying things. And look, yes, you might be a yo-yo dieter, a fouled cereal dieter, as you described it. One of the things that I'm most proud about my the program that we've designed, me and my team, is I really do feel like it should be the last diet you ever need, because we're going to teach you everything. So the principles, which are the most important things, and then the methods that feed into those principles. And each member will go about adhering to the principle, the calorie deficit, in a slightly different way. So, Will Stevens, who's watching, might intermittently fast. Sarah might not intermittently fast and might have cut out, some of her snacks or whatever. Like, there's just so many different methods you can go about it. So, you've got low carb, you've got high carb, you've got low fat, high fat, etc., etc. There's so many different ways. Hello, Emma. There's so many different ways to go about it, and we'll teach you them all, so you find a way that works for you, which is exactly why, and going back to my summary and final statement, I guess, why Slimming World won't work for everyone, because it doesn't give you those that information, that knowledge, and doesn't even give you the opportunity to go, that no one sits down with you and goes, right, how should we make this work for you? You get told, you get given. And anything that you're told and given without any options and without any additional information, it doesn't take a rocket scientist, does it, to know that it's probably not going to work for most people, which is why it doesn't. And on that note, I'm going to go and calm myself down. Much love. Please hit share. Please hit like. Especially if this is like, yeah, that made a lot of fucking sense. That makes total sense. Like, my mate needs to hear this. Tag him in it. Share it. Like it. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.